Emily Odom. I'm co-owner of Odom Farming Company in Goldsboro, Rosewood area. We are an agritourism farm, which means we invite people to come on the farm to have fun. So we do you pick strawberries, you pick sunflowers, fall activities like pumpkins and hay rides in a maze. We also have hiking trails and we allow camping, so all kinds of stuff.
Very nice. And thank you so much for being here today. What was your inspiration to start this farm, and what made you really want to get it started?
Well, I kind of really fell into it. I did not grow up desiring to be a farmer. I have a history degree from East Carolina, so I did not plan on doing that. I happened to fall in love with one. So we ended up getting married, and then in the recession of 2008, I was laid off from my position, and he was kind of wanting to raise strawberries, and he was like, well, what if we plant strawberries and you can like run a fruit stand? And I said, oh, okay, that'll be great. I don't know what I was thinking, but he went to a conference, learning how to grow strawberries, and a lot of people there were doing corn mazes and fall activities, and he said, well, that would work perfect. It could be open spring, fall, do vegetables in the summer. So that's kind of how we got started with that. His grandparents passed away, and in 2010, the family sold us the farm. So that's when we had our first corn maze, was that fall.
Oh, wow. And what made you continue to be part of this farm? And I know you said that the family sold you guys the farm. Is that part of the reason that you guys stick with it?
Part of it, he'd always farmed. He grew up farming, and I grew up in a farming family. My uncle farmed, my granddaddy farmed. So I'd been around the lifestyle before, and it just kind of seemed good. We were doing some row crops as well, like sweet potatoes, cotton, soybeans, that kind of thing. And so we were kind of building that up, and then this was kind of like my little niche, something to do. We built it up, and we had the farm, and we had children, and we just, really enjoyed the lifestyle. And land is very important to both of us, family land, keeping land in the family, and farmland preservation. And so it's just a natural fit for us to use what we had to do that. And at the time we started, nobody else in Wayne County was doing agritourism. It was kind of new. There was some popping up around, but we were kind of the front line. So I don't know if we were smart or, well, I don't know. The jury's still out, so
Yes.
whether it was a good idea or not.
Yeah, absolutely. And in 2008, what was the original vision for this farm?
So he was working with another farmer, another local farmer. So he just kind of did a little bit of row crop on the side. Like we plant a little bit of corn or a little bit of sweet potatoes on the side. And so, but he his family had farmed, and he really wanted to have his own farm. He didn't want to work for another farmer forever. So he was kind of building that a lot, and I just completely lost my train of thought. What was the question? Ask me again.
What the original vision for the farm was?
So our original vision, was just to be a row crop farm. That's what we had not planned to do agritourism. It was not on our radar. We, wanted to raise a couple thousand acres of row crops and farm in a big way. But we started doing the agritourism, and it got bigger and bigger, and competition for land in the county, input costs are going up. It's really difficult to break into farming if you're not inheriting it from your parents, or you don't have some kind of money backing you somehow. And we were doing it all on our own. His father long since stopped farming. My parent, we weren't farming. I was in a whole different community. I grew up in the Grantham community. This was Rosewood. And so we just kind of decided we were at a point where we either had to get really big really fast to compete or stick with the agritourism. And we just decided to stick with the agritourism and let the other go.
Yeah, absolutely. And agritourism is so different from just normal farming.
Yes.
So what have been some of the biggest differences that you see between just regular farming and agritourism?
I think a lot of local farmers don't really get what we do. I think that they go to they see other larger agritourism farms and think, oh, they're just making money hand over fist, and that's kind of the impression they get. We don't really raise a lot of anything. I mean, we just kind of do a lot of everything. So it's hard when you go up to a farmer and they say, oh, we raise, 1,000 acres of sweet potatoes. What do you raise? And we're like, well, we're an agritourism farm. So I think, I don't know. I think we don't always have the best, I don't want to say reputation, but I feel like they think we're a joke sometimes. So that's a big thing. But at the same time, I mean, they're realizing that farming is getting such a terrible rap in the media and around the country. And we really feel like we're in a position where we can combat that, because we're bringing people onto the farm and letting them see what we do and experience something sort of like, what it's like. And so if they can get to know us and talk with us, and we've got families that's been coming for 10 years and we know them very well and we're good friends with them, that kind of helps dispute that. Yeah. That, every farm's a factory farm. That's our main goal. We want to educate people about agriculture and, let them have some fun and hopefully make a little money while we do it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's always the end goal.
Yes. We're not a nonprofit.
Yeah, absolutely. And now that you guys are really up and running, you're well known in the community, what would be the vision for the next 5 years and maybe even the next 10 years?
I think about this all the time. What's our next thing? What's our next goal? Because you always got to think about what's coming up. What are the trends? What's coming up? Because, with the traditional farm, they plan out, well, we're going to plant cotton this year, we're going to do corn this year, what's that? But, I mean, for us, marketing is just as important as raising, which, I mean, farming is a business, so don't get me wrong, but we have to think about it in a different way than a traditional farm. So, for us, we have a difficulty because we're directly on the Little River, which is a tributary of the Neuse. And we flood. So about half of our property floods. So we're really stuck. We had originally thought, we'll go the wedding venue route. Like everybody, else has, we'll put up a barn and people get married. But then we had Hurricane Matthew. And it was just such an eye-opening experience for me. I mean, I had experienced Fran and Floyd, but not the level of flooding that we saw in Matthew. And I thought, there's no way I'm going to put anything in this area that floods that's going to, get destroyed, like a wedding venue. Mm-hmm. So we decided to turn that negative into a positive, and we created our river trails, what we call it. It's like little hiking trails through the river. We've got about a mile or so of trails. Not a lot, but it's a start. And so I hope in the next 5 years or so to really build that out. I want to possibly, and this may be in the 10-year plan, not the 5-year plan, but what I would love to put are little cabins down there for like Airbnb.
Yeah,
thing.
Absolutely.
There's a little storage shed, like a tiny house type situation down there. Put a couple of those, be able to do a lot of more camping and stuff, and get people on the river. And the Little River doesn't have a lot of public access to it, so, and it's really beautiful. To me, it's more of a mountain type river than it's not like the Neuse. It's not very deep. It's not muddy. It's very clear. We swim in it all the time. We have no problems with. I don't have any safety concerns with it. I mean, the water's good. So I really would like people to be able to experience that like we do. So that's where I'm kind of leaning toward. I mean, I want to keep doing things we're doing, but I also want every acre to make some money somehow, so we can keep this farm in our family. So we have something for our children if they want to. Farm. My son has expressed the interest in continuing the farm. I want him to have something to continue. And I also don't want any more generations to have to buy the land. I think a lot about that. How many generations of this one family is going to buy this 90 acres? His grandparents did, we did. I kind of want the buck to stop with us. May not be likely. We may lose it all. I don't know. But that's my end goal. So whatever we can do to make that happen, that's what I want to do.
Yeah, Absolutely. And I know you mentioned a little bit about how some farmers may not see you guys as a real farm, but you guys really do bring a sense of advocacy towards agriculture.
Yeah.
So, how do you think that you want to expand on that in the next few years in order to continue to help advocate for not just your farm, but also for all farms in North Carolina and across the country?
I think the best way to advocate. I mean, I'm not a big pusher. I'm not on Facebook all the time trying to refute the latest claim. That's just not what I do. I feel like there's room at the table for everybody. We're so lucky in this country that we have those choices. You know, we're not having to walk 10 miles a day to get water and come back. So, you know, organic, not organic, whatever. I don't think it matters that much. We just try to be relatable. We try to be open. We tell people all the time, if you have questions, ask us. We'll be happy to help you. We try to be involved some in our local agriculture groups. Like I'm on the Farm Bureau board. JR's on some committees as well. So that way we can kind of stay in touch with what's going on with agriculture in our community. We feel like Wayne County is positioned to be the next Johnson County or the next Wake, because we're right here on this corridor, the 70, and we see already the urban sprawl spreading out. You know, Johnson County's losing land left and right. Our side of Wayne County, people are building houses left and right. So we feel like we're positioned to really be that person, that point person for farming in our community, because I mean, how many other farms can people go to? I mean, we're there. We're an accessible thing, and so I think that's what we have that's unique to other farms. And so we just, like I said, we try to be transparent. We don't try to hide anything we do. We talk about it. We have animals, so people get to see those. We don't do a lot of animal agriculture. We don't have like hogs, that kind of thing. But we have our little pets, and so we get to educate people about that and what farm, you know, how they live. And so I think we're just gonna try to keep doing what we're doing. We try to stay very neutral about everything because, you know, we want to be accessible to everybody. So we don't try to box ourselves in any corners. We tell the truth like it is, and that's all we can do.
Yeah, absolutely. Talking about your family.
Yeah.
And how many years they farmed and stuff. What were their farms like, and what was your daily childhood like?
So, like I said, I grew up in a farming family, but my parents did not farm. We had gardens. I would go, my granddaddy, I remember, you know, some of our youngest memories of like being on summer break at school. I'd stay with my grandparents and we'd go pull weeds. I would help with tobacco a little bit when they were setting out tobacco. I would help. My favorite thing ever, I'm a huge pyromaniac. Love burning stuff. It's a problem. It's a flaw. And so my granddaddy and my uncle would burn off their wheat fields, and that was like my favorite thing ever because I could get out there and just watch the fire go across the field, and then sometimes like it would catch the ditch bank on fire, and I'd be out there like I'd try to burn off like control it as it would go down. So I was such a huge dork. Yeah, we had a garden. We picked peas. We grew stuff. We canned stuff. We froze stuff. Corn, peas, butter beans, all that kind of stuff. I didn't help out a lot on the farm, but you know we did do that kind of thing with my grandparents. And I remember my granddaddy carried me to the tobacco market and just walking around with all the big piles of tobacco, and the auctioneer would be doing his thing and I'd be running around, and just the smell of it. We saw some on TV the other day. They were talking about a tobacco auction, and I was like, I can smell that picture because I know exactly. So those are things that I just cherish now, especially as we, you know, do our thing. I used to blog a little bit, and so I would talk about some of these memories like picking blueberries and, you know, sitting there watching TV shelling peas all day, that kind of thing. That's just not a childhood. I know it's not, my children have a little bit of a different perspective than most. But most children, that's not how they grow up now. So it's kind of sad that a lot of that's getting lost.
Yeah. And do you think that those memories that you had with your grandparents really contributed to the farm that you have today?
Absolutely, 100%. I was really involved in 4-H as a child, and I would do presentations and projects and this, that, and the other. My grandma was very instrumental in that. We sewed all the time. I would do flower arranging presentations, and I remember just hating it so bad because she'd make me practice over and over. I mean, I could memorize that thing by heart. She'd put me in speech competitions. I had to get up and make speeches. And because nobody else did that. I was the only one, and I felt like such a dork. But now I'm so grateful because I don't have any problem public speaking, love public speaking. I can sew. Anything comes up, I can hem my own pants. I don't have to carry them anywhere. We grow some flowers at the farm. We have sunflowers. We just kind of grow wildflowers because I just like them. People come take pictures of them. And so I can cut all the flowers I want. If I have events, we do events all the time, like girls' nights or date nights. I could just go forage in the woods for what I want, cut it, bring it up, arrange it at the table. And so those lessons I learned from them that I didn't even realize what I was learning have meant so much to me now. And I really love it because both of my grandparents passed. My grandma passed recently. And so I feel like it's a connection to them, like they're still living on through my memories and my experiences.
Yeah, absolutely. And talking about your 4-H experience, what were some of the main project areas that you were focused in? And did you ever go to like district or state events and stuff?
Yes. I feel like 4-H is so different now than it was, 25 or so years ago when I was in 4-H. It's been a long time. So we had a club there at my church. Miss Louise Williams was my, I can't remember, the lady that coordinated everything.
Yeah, you're a club leader.
So, and we would do some. I did a lot of sewing. We would do the fashion show every year. I always did that. I always entered that stuff in the fair every year, and I love doing that, and I wish I did that with my kids now, but the problem with the fair is it falls like right in our absolute busiest time ever, so I never get to experience that, but we'd go put up fair booths and take stuff to the fair. I did some state level fashion shows as well. Used to be one at Peace College that I would do every year, and then for presentations, I made it to the state level. Just about every year I did it. So there's not a lot of people that do flower arranging presentations. So it's really nice when you have nobody to compete against. And we would go do those at NC State on Gorman Street. I can't remember the name of it.
The McKimmon Center.
Yes.
Yes.
McKimmon Center. Yes. So, yep, I did some of that, district and state. And I really liked it. Our county we had a somewhat small 4-H club. I mean, I was really the only one that was doing anything like that, and so and our county didn't have a lot that went either. We were kind of a smaller county, so it was always such a I was a dork. Such a rush, like when you get up there and they call your name and you have to go up there and you get your little trophy. And I think I still have all my trophies. It's terrible. They're not out. They're packed up somewhere, but I think I still have them. And I put them out when I was young and had to dust them every week. I mean, I was so proud. And so, I feel like I was pushed into doing that a lot by the adults in my life, but I'm so grateful that I did now. So, now I feel like there's not as many clubs as there were when I was, a kid. There was several clubs, not as many now, but I'm trying to get my kids more involved in it. My son's doing the dairy project, so they're very excited. I never did a lot with animals, showing animals or anything like that. I regret it. I wish I had, but he's doing it and he's enjoying it, so that makes me happy.
Yes, absolutely. And this is your final question.
Okay.
What is your best advice for someone that wants to get into farming or even into agritourism in general? What advice do you wish you had when you first started out?
Oh gosh. I feel like the future of farming, I'm not saying there's not going to be large farmers raising thousands of acres, but I really feel like the future of farming is going to be direct marketing. You raising your own vegetables, beef, pork, chicken, and selling that directly to consumers. So I would always say, like I said, marketing so much of it. Definitely, get all that you can. You need to know how to raise stuff. I'm not saying that you don't, but you also have to market it, and you have to look at the trends and package it, and just, definitely don't just focus on the growing of it. You got to focus on the business of it too. And something that I'm really struggling with is just comparison a lot between us and like other farms, and that's just a really struggle with me. That's just a personal trait of me. But I would just say, just be true to yourself. Don't try to be something that you're not because you think that's what you're supposed to do. The future doesn't always turn out. Turn out like you think it's going to. I remember when I was in college, one of my professors was like, "Oh, well, you'll change careers like 4 times in your life," and I thought, he's crazy. I love history. I wanted to be. I was just all about it because I like stories. And to me, history is just a big collection of stories. So, and I thought, there's never going to be anything else I'd ever do. Never once thinking that I might be a farmer. But just, I guess, to be open to that, be open to change. Just don't feel like you have to do things a certain way. You can make your own way.